Alright, America, YouTube. This is going to be a video in response to a guy that follows me some, and he is nice enough to actually watch my videos. And obviously, if he wants me to answer a question, I don't feel like I can. I feel obligated to answer, and I also don't think I can afford not to, considering the fact he's about the only person on earth who cares what I have to say about anything. Anyways, the point is, he wanted to know what I think about a guy named, not guy, but a girl named Tulsi Gabbard or something like that. I think I know who he's talking about. I probably butchered her name, but the point is, I don't know anything about her. I really don't. I couldn't tell you what I think about her. I honestly don't know. But the one thing I can talk about, and I want to talk about this before I get to the more unsettling and difficult part of this video that I must once again talk about, because I have Asperger's, and as you know, we obsess over shit. So I'm talking about this first. 1 minute. For fuck's sake, go away. Stop that. If anyone ever warned you of the dangers of pornographic websites, you should warn them of the danger of pro wrestling websites, because believe me, they will cause you way more spam. Anyways, before I get to that, like I said, I don't know who Tulsi Gabbard is. I know who you're talking about. I don't have anything bad to say about her because I don't know anything about her. The four candidates that I like, that I don't want to go into too much detail about, and I don't know a lot about them either, because as I have said before, I don't know, are Bernie Sanders. I know a little bit more about him than the rest. I don't want to once again say that the gay guy, because I mean that's got to be obnoxious. I don't want to once again say the gay guy, because I'm sure that's getting to be obnoxious to gay people and probably everyone else. So instead, I'm going to say Pete, Mayor Pete. I mean, he said something like call him that, because I cannot remember his last name for the life of me, and I don't know why. So there's that. And then there's Andrew Yang. Who, by the way, is against. He said he did not support genital mutilation. In TMZ, because TMZ is such a fine, respectable website. They're not at all ambulance chasers and fucking people that try to do everything they can to violate other people's privacy or celebrities' privacy and find out every little detail about other people's lives and report on bullshit gossip stories that no one cares about. And the guy who runs the thing isn't at all a complete creep. No, anyways, they wanted to diss him and try to, I guess, say he was anti-Semitic or whatever they were trying to say, because he said he was against genital mutilation. They wanted to say he wanted to make a law against it, and he never said anything of the sort. He was asked about it by someone. He said he was against the practice. That's all he said. But I like Andrew Yang, and some of his economic policies and things he wants to do is pretty good. And he's an Asian guy. He's a minority. I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, Mayor Pete, let's just call him that, is a gay guy. That would be cool to have a gay president. Sanders, obviously, you know about Sanders, and I like his economics and some of the stuff he wants to do. And Biden, I mean, believe it or not, I've taken a liking to Joe Biden. I think Biden is a pretty decent president. And I mean, because first I didn't like him. He gets a rap as being kind of a boring, generic, overly politically correct character that'll say anything. But I mean, he's shown a lot of personality recently, and I mean, he said he wanted to raise the minimum wage to like $15, and I mean, I really don't think the guy's pretty cool. But I don't know much about him. So the point is, those are the guys I like, and I don't even know much about them. I don't know anything about the chick that he named, so I can't say much about her. And sorry it took so long. As far as who's the worst president between Nixon and Bush, Bush is worse. Bush got us in the Afghan war, and of course Bin Laden was no longer even there. 9/11 happened under him. Then he got us into the Iraq war. Then later on, he helped collapse he was president when the economy collapsed. He did nothing to try to in any way solve that problem. He bailed out the fucking banks. Him and Obama bailed out the banks, and then just not a very good president. Caused a bunch of fucking problems. He helped lay the groundwork for what would become the war in Syria. Bush is worse than Nixon. I'm not a fan of Nixon. I'm not trying to defend the guy. Bush is worse. So that's my opinion. Now to talk about genital mutilation once again, as I always do. 1 minute. Sorry for ranting on so long, but now it's time for my Asperger's ridden ass to talk about something, once again, that I have talked about a million times in the future, or in the past, rather. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. There's a video up in this. By the way, I don't want to say who, because she's not disagreeing with me, and that's why I don't extend this. But she removed one of my comments. I thought it was bizarre, because she seems not to specifically disagree with me. She seems to rather agree with me on this. But she said it was because it was political. She doesn't allow political comments. Yet there's another political comment on there saying very close to the same thing I was saying. So I don't get that or what the hell that was about. But the point is, I asked her why she deleted my comment. She said because it was overly political and or judgmental. And again, she's not disagreeing. So I thought this was bizarre. I mean, maybe it was overly emotional or angry, but it's this was this guy who wrote into her to say something about he was not picked on. I don't think they knew that he wasn't circumcised. Like, I don't think they were talking about him like he was just there and he isn't. And they were like a couple of guys, a couple of girls were joking about guys who aren't. You know, like, to me, that's just really reckless, and it's like body shaming, and you know, it's kind of dark. I mean, you know, I mean that's and it, like, say the guy couldn't afford to. Like, not only are you possibly pressuring someone into doing something to themselves that could be harmful. Say the guy couldn't afford to go to a facility to have that done to himself, medical facility, and he tried to do it himself. You know, I mean, the motherfucker could end up cutting his dick off if he castrated himself or whatever else. And I don't see the fucking humor in that. And I pretty much just said they're mindless scumbags and shallow, and they didn't deserve to have sex with anyone. And you know, I really just, you know, went off on these individuals that this guy was talking about, and I feel that fucking way. And there was also, it's not just guys. I mean, there was an episode of something I saw once. It was some kind of embarrassing bodies or something like that. And there was this girl who was getting labiaplasty. She was getting her labia cut up or something because her friends and the guy she was with said her labia was ugly, so she went to have part of her labia cut off. And it's like, that's really, to me, that's really reckless, and I just don't have any respect for that kind of behavior. And I don't see how that's political. And you're saying it's judgmental. Yeah, that's judgmental, as opposed to the people judging someone else because their body isn't what they think it should look like. That to me is sickening, and I just found that really upsetting. Like, that to me is ridiculous. The entire circumcision thing is ridiculous. I don't understand why the hell we still do this. And you know, I mean, you should be much more considerate of other people and who's around you, and not just be a bunch of fucking morons and inconsiderate assholes. And most of you are. So I found that interesting. But so there's that. So to I guess to fucking recap this little episode of whatever the fuck it is that I do. I don't know who Tulsi Gabbard is. If I voted for anyone, it would either be Sanders, Andrew Yang, Mayor Pete, and or Biden. I never thought I'd say that, but I actually have taken a liking to Biden for some fucking reason. I think Bush is worse than Nixon, even though I'm not saying I like Nixon. I just think Bush is worse. And genital mutilation is not okay, and I don't think you should be shaming people for not having their genitals mutilated. And it's very bizarre. And by the way, on that issue, before I end off, because I want to say this, that's not going to be like that for long, and it's already going the other direction. It's been going the other direction since like the late 90s, but it currently it stands at about 40%, probably. It's under 50%, as I told someone on there. Or on that comment section, it's under 40. It's under 50%. It may be as low as 40%. So the norm going forward, because the rates will probably continue to go down. So the norm will be not to be mutilated. That's going to be the norm, and it should be the norm. But it's not okay to disrespect guys or girls because their genitals don't look like yours. It's very bizarre, and it can cause serious harm. It can cause self-esteem issues. To me, that's very just monstrous behavior. And if you're doing that, you can go fuck yourself. And I have no respect for you. And that's all. Be 666.